Welcome to Magic Hour. I'm your host, Paul Chappell, and today I am reviewing Aladdin, starring Will Smith, Mena Massoud, Naomi Scott, and a few other people. But I have to go ahead and say it, folks. Will Smith is back. Now, I was kind of concerned when I first heard about this movie. I didn't think Will Smith could fill Robin Williams' shoes. I mean, this movie didn't come out when I was a kid, the original animation, but I was fond enough of it, even as a teenager, that it really became my favorite animated film. So I was so scared about what possibly could happen. But I didn't look at anything. I didn't look at any of the trailers. I read an article that first came out. It was about the first trailer, and a lot of people were complaining because in some of the pictures or in this trailer, Will Smith was not blue. And that was totally unfounded because once you watch the movie, you'll understand why he's blue and why he's not blue. That kind of becomes part of the story in an ingenious way. So I actually like that. But I sat down to watch the film, and I'm looking at the credits in the opening, and I see that Guy Ritchie directed this, and I was like taken back for a second. I was a little worried because I know not too long ago he did a King Arthur movie, and he had stuff like King Arthur being raised in a brothel by prostitutes. Guy Ritchie is out there, so I was. But then I kind of settled down when I remembered this is a Disney film. They would not let him do something stupid like that in this film. In fact, I still haven't seen the rest of that King Arthur movie. My wife tells me it's pretty good. But anyway, I went in with a little bit of trepidation, knowing Guy Ritchie had directed it. But the one thing you can say about Guy Ritchie is that he knows his way around a camera. There's some camera shots in this movie. It's just so seamless. There's these tracking shots that move through the city of Aqaba and tilt up and tilt down and swoop this way and swoop that way. And it's just a beautiful opening sequence that they have in this movie. And right away, I knew Guy Ritchie was the right guy for this film. And then when I saw one of the first musical numbers, I was also put at ease because it played just like the original animation. And I have to say, audiences agree with me right now. This movie's tracking #1 in Latin America and Asia. And I think it's doing pretty good in the States. I think it's already made $100 million here, $207 million globally. So this is going to be a huge movie. It's tracking a lot better than some of Disney's other hits. So I think Jungle is doing better than Jungle Book and Maleficent and some other films. Some of the other live actions that Disney has done. So I was really encouraged about that because this is a movie with almost a completely minority cast. I mean, there may have been two white faces in this movie that I can recall. One of them was a prince who's trying to gain Princess Jasmine's hand, and I can't even remember. I'm pretty sure I saw another one, but there's not many white people in this film, and that as it should be. This fairy tale is derived from 1001 Nights, so Arabian, Middle Eastern folklore, pretty much written during the Islamic Golden Age. And this is an age where Islam had taken over most of North Africa, Spain, and some other areas. And they were contributing in so many ways to science, algebra, physics, astronomy. I mean, it's just a great age of learning and growth in the Muslim world. And, you know, as you probably know, we don't get those kind of portrayals in any movie. I can't think of the last movie I saw where there was a positive portrayal of Arab people or Muslims. Because I say that because most of these actors in the movie are not Arab. Will Smith, of course, is not Arab. The guy playing Aladdin, Mina Masood, is Arabic, but Naomi Scott, who's playing Jasmine, she's Indian. We got a couple character actors. The one I was more familiar with was Naveed Nagaban. I've seen him in everything. He's Persian, but every time I see him in a television show or a movie, he's playing either Arab or Indian. He has one of those faces he can go back and forth. But he was playing the Sultan, Jasmine's father, and there was a new face I hadn't seen before, Marwan Kensari. I think he is Egyptian, so he might be Arabic. And then we had an actress named Nasim Padrad playing Daya, who is Jasmine's handmaid. She's actually Persian too. So the good thing, though, like I said, they're all people of color. The success of this movie is going to dispel some of those notions about movies for people of color, especially Black Americans, not doing well overseas. Because, like I said, it's #1 in a lot of countries. So enough with that. What's good about this film? Well, as I said, I was concerned that Will Smith wouldn't be able to match Robin Williams' manic energy, and he does it. And I think that was actually a good choice for this film because you don't want somebody imitating what's already been done, especially something so unique as Robin Williams' portrayal. I don't think Will Smith could have done it. So what you do get in this movie is Will Smith as Will Smith, but it's not the Will Smith yelling, "Oh, hell no," and all that kind of stuff. This is a more sedated but totally cool Will Smith that I was okay with. You know, there was some humor in the movie. I wouldn't say it was Kevin Hart type humor or Dave Chappelle type humor or even black humor. It was more like kiddie humor, but it worked for me. I didn't have many complaints about the humor. They did actually have some funny lines. It was more a situational comedy than really lines, but they did a pretty good job with the humor. And as I've said before, the singing was excellent. They actually introduced, I think, about 3 new songs I hadn't heard before, if I'm not mistaken. But the old classics are there, A Whole New World, and I forget the name of the other songs, but they're all there. And they have nice choreographed numbers throughout the movie that just do justice to the original animation. And of course, Will Smith is going to do well with that as well because he is a musician himself. But I found that there was one song that Will Smith was even singing, and I don't know whether they auto-tuned it. I was listening really hard. He was actually, I mean, he wasn't stellar or anything, but it was passing. But they might have done some auto-tuning. I wouldn't doubt it because I don't think he's naturally a singer. But he did okay. So and the main actresses playing Aladdin and Jasmine, of course, also did very well. Especially Jasmine, played by Naomi Scott. I think she's actually, I don't know much about her, but I think she is also either a musician or a singer or something. But she did very well. They added a little bit of action. I was kind of expecting that. That didn't disappoint. They didn't go overboard with it. It was more in line with the animation, but they did some things that were interesting. They brought some new ideas to the film, and I thought I was going to hate the CGI monkey, Abu, And I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't even think about it being CGI till late in the movie. I was like, hey, that monkey's not real. I mean, the animation of the monkey was so seamless and so realist that I never even gave it a second thought. In fact, there was this scene, they having a chase scene with the bird, and I forget the bird's name. The bird gets bigger, and then I realized, oh, that's a CGI bird. The bird was even, you know, was a great animation. So they did great work, and I always really talk about the camera work. Camera work was just stupendous. I haven't seen camera work like that. Just very confident work by Guy Ritchie. Everything about this movie was just, as you can expect from a Disney production. It was just great on every level. In fact, I usually have a little list of things, good and bad, about the film. I couldn't think of one bad thing about this film. I really couldn't. I mean, it's gonna make a ton of money. And I mean, the great thing about it, I was actually uplifted at the end. I kind of felt like a kid again, although, you know, I did not see this as a kid. I did see it as a teenager, but it just brought me back a little bit. And I really appreciated that, because we don't have a lot of positivity when it comes to movies with minority leads. So this is another one we can put up there with Black Panther and some of those Marvel movies that have come out with people of color in it. So I was very encouraged by that, and I will make this a big recommend. If you haven't seen it, go out and see it right now. Take your kids. Your kids are going to love this. There was nothing objectionable about it. In fact, they toned down a couple things from the actual animation. There was a scene in the original animation where Jasmine gives away, I don't know if it was the same, but in this film, she gives away some bread to poor children. And I know in the animation, the guy was threatening to cut off her hand. Well, in this live action version, they just threatened to turn her into the police. So they made a few changes like that and made it a little bit less controversial. I think there was some complaints when the original animation came out about that. So it's a great film. Go see it. Stop listening to me. And let me just thank my subscribers. I just crossed 70,000. I appreciate the subscribe, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead. Subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment. And that's all I got for today. And I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.